Okay, so our next topic is transmission media. So first thing, what is the meaning of transmission media? So transmission media means transmission media is a pathway that passes the information from sender to receiver. Means that is the pathway by which we use like cables, connectors. That is the transmission media. So here we have two types of transmission media used in networking. Number one is wired. Number second is wireless. So first is wired, means cable. So cables means what? A bunch of wires collectively known as cable. So first thing, characteristic of cable means if you have to purchase or if you have to select your cable. So which characteristic you have to know? So first thing is bandwidth. Means always when you will select your cable, so that time you have to see their bandwidth. What is the bandwidth of that cable? Bandwidth means what? The amount of data that a cable can carry at a time, known as bandwidth. In simple, we can say that is the speed, right? And it always measures in kbps, mbps, gbps, right? So that is called bandwidth. Second thing is, okay, suppose I have this cable and the bandwidth I select 1 gbps, that means 1 GB per second. And the second thing I have to see the segment length. Now, what is the meaning of segment length? So, the capacity of carrying signal without using repeater is called segment length. It measures in meter. So, capacity of carrying means here for every cable we have the segment means like 100 meters, 30 meters. That is the segment means, and in that means they that can transmit the data, that can send the data in that range. If your cable has 100-meter segment length, that means your cable can carry your data within this 100 meter only. After that, you have to need some repeater or you have to need a switch there. So that is called segment length. Third one is attenuation. Attenuation means what? The losses of communication signal in a cable, known as attenuation. It gives always negative value because that is losses. That means it will be the negative value. It measures in decibel. So for every connection or for every communication, we have to need this attenuation also. Means we have to see that attenuation also. In which cable we have less attenuation, that will be the means best cable. Next is cost. According to the company needs, we have to see the cost. Cable comes in various qualities. Copper cable are the cheapest cable, and optical fiber cable are the expensive cable. So according to the need, we can select that. And the fifth one is crosstalk. Now, what is the mean of crosstalk? So whenever signal passes through a wire, means suppose if you have this wire and when you will transmit the signal, when signal will pass in this cable, so that time an electromagnetic field will generate around it. So here is the electromagnetic field. Suppose that is generated. This process is called loop. This process is called loop. And then suppose the same time when the other wire comes into the loop, and suppose if you have one other wire also available in that loop, and here also will be the electromagnetic field, right? Here also electromagnetic field. So this process is called cross. When these two electromagnetic field will connect with each other, so that time this will be the cross. And always this crosstalk will create this attenuation, means it will lose your communication signal. So by this crosstalk, so for that we have to select that type of cables, like you have to select that cable in which we have the coating available, by which this attenuation will be less. So crosstalk also we have to see there, in which cable the crosstalk will be less, that will be the best cable, right? That is the characteristic of cable. Always when you will select your cable, that time you have uh, to see that points or see that features there. Right now, is that clear or any doubt on any point?
Ravi, I just want to segment length. Can you please repeat once?
Okay, segment length means what? Suppose if you have this cable, if you have this cable.
Mhm.
So for every cable, we have segment length. Segment length means what? Suppose if your cable has 100-meter segment, 100 meter. Now, suppose if you have this cable, and the cable segment length is 100 meter. So 100 meter means what? When you will transmit the data, you have this system available here, and if you have this another system, you send the data by this cable to the another. So that time this cable can carry your data, your signal within this 100 meter. After 100 meter, your signal will discard. It will not transmit to the next. That time we have to need one device that is repeater. Repeater will regenerate the signal. And if you ever heard or if you ever see that things means in some poles we have like this box we have some available in that poles in your city in your locality. If you ever heard for the broadband connection for the telepole
Yes, yes.
connection there that is a repeater,
Okay,
right? Because in every cable has a segment length, every network cable has a segment length. So segment length can be 100 meter, we have 30 meter also available. And earlier in copper state, so no, means earlier we had cable that was for the name. Earlier which cable used in this TV connection that has 500 meter also available. In fiber optic, we
mhm.
have the length means 2 kilometer to 100 kilometer. That is very much which is available for fiber cable. But in copper cable, that is maximum 100 meter, which used in nowadays. So that is the mean of that segment length, right? In simple, we can say the
Okay,
capacity of carrying signal without any device.
Okay, so for
Okay.
copper
Anyway,
okay, Ravi.
cables, segment length will that repeater will be used more, right?
sorry, repeat again.
In the copper cables, the repeater will be used more, right?
Right. In copper cable, we have to need some newer repeater, and we have another option also available, like switch also works as a repeater. And in organization, if you have suppose 10 buildings available in your HCL, at that time, if you want to make the connection, so there you can use switch also. Switch also works as a repeater, right?
Yeah,
But within 100 meter, you have to need one device that can be repeater, that can be switch on. Okay.
cool. Yeah,
Okay. Next thing is types of cable. So first cable is copper cable. We have two types of cable: copper cable and fiber cable. In copper cable, we have two types. In fiber cable also we have two types. In copper cable, we have twisted pair, and the second is coaxial cable. And in fiber cable, single mode optic cable and multi mode fiber optic cable. In twisted pair, we have two types. Number one is UTP, unshielded twisted pair. Number second is STP, shielded twisted. In UTP, we have some category like category 1 to category 8, and in coaxial, STP is also similar. We will also discuss that when in STP also the same category from category 1 to category 8. And coaxial, in coaxial we have two types: 10 base 5, that is also known as thicknet and RG8, and 10 base 2, that is also known as thinnet and RG58. Okay, so these are the types of cable. We have that much types of cable. Now, twisted pair means what? Here, that is the type of copper cable, and in that, two wires twisted with each other. Right? Two wires twisted with each other. So that is known as twisted pair, and not two wire. We can in simply way more elaborate that. So we can say in that type of cable, in that twisted pair cable, we have total eight wire there. Total eight wire. But that wire twisted means in a pair. In a pair, we have two wires twisted with each other, and another two twisted with each other, another two twisted with each other, and another two twisted with each other. That means here we have four pair available. Total eight wire. So that is known as twisted pair cable. Here we have two types: UTP and STP. UTP means unshielded, means there will not be any shield on that type of cable. But on this type of cable, STP, there is one aluminum shield available there. aluminum shield. If I will show you here, I think I have this picture. Here you can see UTP and FTP. Right, on UTP you can see there is not any field available, but on FTP you can see here. Here we have this field, right, and that field is useful for the means crosstalk. It will remove the crosstalk. By this type of FTP, by this type of field, there is less chance of crosstalk, and that type of cable is used there where we have the chance of crosstalk, like in that place where we have more noise available there, and where we have multiple cables available there. So there we can use that type of STP cable. And now category. So here in this UTP or STP we have 8 categories. What is the difference between that category? So here is the difference from category 1 to category 8. And here is the bandwidth and the segment length as well. So that data rate means bandwidth and the maximum length means segment. So in starting category 1 was introduced. Nowadays that is not available in the market also. In market we have only this category from this category 5 available. Category 5, 5B, 6, 6A, 7, 8. Till this category 4 that is upload there means that is not available in the market also. In category 1 earlier up to 1 Mbps speed were there and maximum segment length were not available. Category 2, 4 Mbps, and there is not any segment length defined that time. That is defined from the category 3. In category 3, the speed up to 10 Mbps and the segment length means 100 meters. Means by a single cable without any device, means this cable can carry up to 100 meter only. Category 4, 16 Mbps and 100 meter. Category 5, 100 Mbps and 100 meter. Category 5B, 1 Gbps and 100 meter. And category 6, 10 Gbps and 100 meter. Category 6A, 10 Gbps and 100 meter. And there is only the difference in attenuation. Attenuation means losses of signal. Attenuation means in 6A there is less attenuation, and in 6 there is more attenuation compared to this 6A. Then category 7 there is also less attenuation. There is also that difference means less attenuation. So category 8, here we have this 40 Gbps. That is the latest, and the latest speed that is 40 Gbps, and the segment length is 30 meter only. Means within 30 meter you have to use repeater or any switch, or means we can say we have to need one device. That is the latest category 8. Right now in this chart, any doubt? UTP, STP. Okay, now advantage and disadvantage as we discussed. UTP means the advantage of UTP is they are very flexible. Flexible means there is not any shield available. So when there is not any shield available, that means that is flexible, and you can also twist that type of cable. Low cost, there's low cost, and can be used for either voice or data communication. You can use for voice or data communication also. And the advantage or disadvantage of STP. So the main advantage of STP is that is ensure greater protection from all type of noises and cross, because here is the shield available. By that shield, there is less chance of crosstalk than UTP cable. And disadvantage is that is more expensive than UTP. Right. So these are the means comparison between this UTP and STP. So we have to select like that. Suppose if you have to need for that place where we have more noise available, like suppose for the factory or that place where noise is available there. So for that you can select this type of STP cable. Otherwise you can select that UTP, no issue, because in normal companies we don't have more noise available, or we don't have more crosstalk chances available. So you can select that UTP also, right? And then the second type of cable is coaxial. Coaxial means what? If you will see that type of cable, so here you can see, and I think everyone sees that type of cables, or everyone knows about this cable. Earlier, that cable used in dish TV connection, and now I think also that is available in a DTH connection. This type of cable. So here you can see it consists of a solid copper core. Here you can see here we have this solid copper core that is and surrounded by an insulator mainly made up of PVC, polyvinyl chloride or Teflon. So here is one insulator that is the insulator of PVC and then it's surrounded by mesh-like ground wire called a braiding or shield. So here is the mesh-like ground wire that is called braiding or shielding. Shield. And here is one outer cover that is known as sash. So that is called coaxial cable. Types of coaxial cable. So we have two types of coaxial cable. Number one is RG58, 10 base 2 or thinner. Actually, only we have to understand that concept. Nowadays, that type of cable not used in computer network, but earlier that type of cable is also used in computer network. Right, so I only just defined it as what's the meaning of that, but nowadays that is not available in anywhere for the network purpose. So in this type of cable RG58 10 base 2 thin net, so the segment length is 200 meter and bandwidth only 10 Mbps. So that's why that is not used nowadays because here only the maximum speed is 10 Mbps. But now in twisted pair or in copper cable we have 40 Gbps available for category 8. So that's why that is up slow. Connector we have to need BNC connector. And if you will see here the BNC connector, so here you can see that type of connector is known as BNC. That that is T-type BNC connector, and that is BNC male and BNC female, and that is 10 base 5 thickness, and that is 10 base 2 thickness. And in thickness, the segment length is 500 meter, bandwidth is 10 Mbps, and connector BNC the same. That is coaxial cable. Now fiber optic cable that is also available in market. Fiber optic cable means what? Fiber optic cable is the fast information transmission medium. Fiber optic cables carry communication signal using pulses of light generated by small laser or light emitting dyes. A fiber optic cable consists of one or more strands of light. So, as we discussed, fiber optic cable is a fast information transmission medium, and that type of cable can carry a signal using pulses of light. Pulses of light means what? Here we have two types of single mode FOC and multi mode FOC. FOC means fiber optic cable. In single mode FOC, there one laser available. By this laser, your pulses will generate. So laser is used as a light source for data transmitting. But in laser, what is the feature of that laser? Only one light signal can pass at a time. If you ever see laser light, so by laser light, only single light can be passed at the same time. These cable can transmit the data for a long distance, but that is the advantage here. So if you have to need for the long distance, so that is the required single mode approach. Means here speed will be less, but distance will be more. In multi-mode approach, LED are used as a light LED. So in LED means here data can transfer more higher rates than single mode approach, but the distance is more less than single mode approach. Right? So that means we have to select accordingly that if you have to need for the long distance, so you have to select single mode FOC. If you have to need for the less distance, so you can less distance with high speed, so you can select this multi mode FOC. And single mode segment length for that type of cable 2 kilometer to 100 kilometers in different category that is available in the market. Bandwidth 10 Gbps, 40 Gbps, 100 Gbps also available. Here you can see here is more means higher rate, more bandwidth available compared to that twisted pair cable. Connector we have multiple types of connector: ST connector, ST, fiber jack, SMA, LC connector available. And here is the connector. ST connector is looking like this, and ST connector, LC connector also, ST connector also, and mostly you will see that type of connector with ST and FT also available in companies or in the network. But that type of ST, LC, SMA also available in network. Right, so you have to use okay that type of connector here and FT that is known as FC, LC, SD, and FN. Okay, now let me know is that clear? Or here you can also see one more thing. As we discussed, LED and laser means for single mode FOC and for multi mode FOC. In single mode FOC, we have this laser light. So in laser light, your data will be transferred in single format. This, but in LED, we have more high rates than this laser and this single mode. Here you can see that is the difference there. Now let me know. Is that clear? Yes. Is that clear for everyone? Okay, perfect. As standard.